Sorry.
Hello,
iOS fans.
we're live. Hopefully we're live.
Live.
So we've already got 17 people watching. Madness.
Total madness.
And we've already got from one of our Patreoners a whole host of questions that he wants us to answer. So tonight it's going to be the Andrew Marlowe
show. First of all,
we're going to be talking.
Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say we're just going to be answering all of his questions.
Yeah, we'll give a big
So,
shout
Andrew.
out as well because he's got his new favourite card as well, which he gave us a big long essay about.
Yeah.
Which is Frenzied Search, is it? I can't remember which.
Yes.
So yes, so this is Andrew. This is for you.
This is for you.
Save us a Frenzied Search for questions.
We've got loads and loads and loads of people online already. Like I said, we've got 18 of them already. We've got tons of people. So hello to everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Do let us know in the comments below or in the chat now even. Does this work for you guys watching and having us have the little startup without us being online so that you guys can log in and be all ready to go and stuff? Or would you rather we just started the show and be there and ready and crash onto it?
That's quite nice. Ed's made the best joke ever in the comments already. So
He has. I think he already wins the prize for the night.
Yeah.
It's good to see your furry faces. Well, only one furry face. Robin is. Although Robin's getting there. He's getting there.
Yeah, I'll shave tomorrow.
He always shaves ready for me.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Let's rock and roll then with some questions. Do chuck them in the chat, obviously. If you are a Patreon supporter, you can go over into our Patreon only live chat area on Discord, and we will be answering everything or as much as we can.
Have you got that up? Because I haven't.
I have.
Good.
Don't worry,
okay.
Robin. Don't worry, Robin. I've got it. I'm just doing the compulsory quick posts on Facebook and Twitter and stuff to make sure everyone knows we're alive and rolling. So there we go. Right, let's crash on with the first question of the evening.
But you read them out, so let's not break a Eyes of the Nine.
No.
True. The three so far, the new ones, I would say it's Scaeth Wild Hunt.
I think mine's probably the Grymwatch.
Well, I do like the way they play, but I don't like the models. And I don't like the fact that everybody keeps saying they're Bretonian all the time. So I can't like them on principle.
Yeah, that's.
Well, VJ says the stream's a bit glitchy.
Ooh, what's the problem, VJ? Let us know what the problem is, and we'll see if we can rectify it. If it's the audio video for me being a bit out, I think that's probably just because I'm running a machine that seems to be steam powered. And we're hoping.
Pete looks like he's in a kung fu movie. Yeah, Pete does.
I'm not sure what that means. What's that mean?
It means your lips aren't syncing with your words.
I see. Yes. Okay.
Not that you look like you're a ninja.
I see. Yes. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Well, I'm trying it a different way, and I can try it the other way. I can put it back again the old way if people would rather I did that. So let me know if you'd rather I try it the old way again. But I thought that was just as bad. So I'll tell you what. Let me try putting my camera in the other way now. We'll see how that goes. This kind of thing never goes wrong whilst live, obviously.
Jeff says you were just freezing for a bit. You seem to be all right now.
Okay, all right. Tell you what, gonna leave it for now. We'll see how we get on.
Okay.
Shout if it does freeze up again. I think it's just the.
But don't shout because I won't hear you.
Obviously, type very loudly, all in caps, that kind of thing. Hopefully, in a month or so, we will be getting a new super duper machine. Thank you to our Patreon supporters, and hopefully be coming at you in much better quality, and it'll be much cooler. So that's the hope anyway. So let's crash on. So the first question was favourite warbands. Now you don't like the Grymwatch models and the fact that everyone calls them Bretonians. I have to say, after spraying the models and starting to paint them, the seams on them, the joins are really, really obvious, which I don't like.
Okay.
It's not good at all. And I suspect it's because the models are quite smooth.
Yeah.
And I personally couldn't be bothered to try and fill all those gaps in because it would take me months, and I'd rather just try and get them painted. But I do like the models, not as much as some of the others. I prefer the despoiler models, I think, but I think cards-wise and the way they play, I think they play much
Yeah.
better.
They are the new Spike's Claw Swarm, maybe.
They could be just better because they automatically bring people back.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that mechanic actually.
Yeah, and it could be quite good for keep them guessing. Somebody pointed
He's
out
very
online.
good. He's very good for keeping guessing. What's not quite clear is I've forgotten what's not quite clear, but there's something that's not quite clear. Somebody was saying, can you do it if you haven't got any to bring back? Can you? Because the muster, there's two parts to it, isn't there? The actual action, which you can do all the time, not all the time, but one of your activations, and then there's muster, which starts at the very beginning of the game, and there's already discussions about whether you can muster some. You can do the muster and to get the action off, which then doesn't work because you haven't got anybody to bring back. My feeling is that you can't, because it's quite clear that you can do it to bring somebody who's not on the table back. But in the past, there have been things like that, like healing potion, for example, which you could use even though you hadn't lost any wound. So maybe they'll FAQ it the opposite way to the way I expect, but we'll see.
Yes, I agree. And generally, whichever way we guess things, it goes the other way. So there's no point in us guessing at all. So, the second question to this is: do you think the Season 1 warbands are still competitive? We will find out tomorrow because we're going to be recording our first Beastgrave versus Beastgrave versus Shadespire matchup, which will be the Orcs versus Despoilers as requested by one of our patroners.
Yeah, I think it was Jason, wasn't it? I think. I'm going to actually go out on a limb and say it depends which warband. Yeah, that's really sort of meta-defining, isn't it?
I'm going to go even further out on that limb and say it depends on whether I'm playing one of the warbands or not.
Just roll the dice.
Exactly.
I think that I've been trying to make an Auric deck, and I think they are worse. I don't think they're as good. But that was the same in Nightmare as well. I just think they've been left behind. But I think with some of the cards in the Grymwatch set and some of the more objective grabbing objectives seem to be coming out, I think the Horde warbands might benefit and might be better than they were before the arrival of Beastgrave. Because there's more. I think there's more push cards, and I haven't quite got my head around which are faction specific and which ones are universals yet. But I feel like there's more opportunities there to make them work. Whereas the Orcs just they haven't got magic, they haven't got quarries, they can't really benefit from the.
There is the card, obviously, that you can take to make someone a hunter.
Yeah, it's not worth it, is it?
No, I don't think so. I think whilst I saw that card, I thought, that looked cool. It might be worthwhile for the Grymwatch because they've got the upgrade that makes all enemies a quarry.
Yeah.
Then that makes it a bit more useful. Yeah. But otherwise, probably not worthwhile.
Somebody's asked, am I going full faction with the Orcs? No, I'm going to be using a mixture of Nightvault cards and Beastgrave cards and faction cards.
Yes, so this is going to be a full cards open to everybody matchup. So all of the Nightvault cards will be on the table to choose. We will be this Friday going live with our first Hunt versus Despoilers deck. It got leapfrogged a bit by Grymwatch, but it'll be our first best of 3 match utilising the Nightvault cards.
Yeah.
So
it's immediately
update.
Immediately updated.
Yes, immediately
update.
Yes, unfortunately so. But they will be coming out on Patreon this Friday, and then there'll be the second of the best of 3 matches coming out on the Saturday. And then I think YouTube are getting Dreadfane this week because we recorded a Dreadfane matchup even earlier than all of this, and we're finally getting around to getting that one out to you as well.
Yeah. Somebody took Magor's last night. Ataris 2099 took Magor's. And then struggled when the board's replacement because there aren't very many speed ploys, as he says in his second comment. So there's no hidden pass, no spectral wings.
Yes, there's those kind of things. Yeah, you kind of need stuff like that for Magor.
Yeah.
Another couple of questions for Garrix Reeves will do quite well, cards permitted. I think Garrix Reeves could do quite well. There's a bit of objective play back in there again for them.
I think they will. I think the ones that are actually going to benefit the most, I was thinking about it, I was driving around earlier, I think that the Sepulchral Guard might do quite well, except the Small Guard move really slowly, although slightly better when they're inspired. But I feel that with the being more of a thing now, you'll be able to get people on objectives more easily, especially the Spike or Swarm, because you can pop them up on the other side of the board and then push on to objectives. And especially with, I think both of them got a card which means you can put people on guard for free. That's quite powerful. The Oryx haven't even got that, because I was thinking, well, I've been this thick deck I've been trying to build, thinking, well, maybe I can get something like that and then get them on an objective to score some of these objective-based objectives. And but they haven't even got any put on guard, so they haven't got that advantage.
Yeah, I think they might struggle in that they're not offensive enough to be truly top class offensive now, and they're not objective grabby and manoeuvrable enough. I mean, you've got cunning but brutal and brutal but cunning, which might help a little bit in that respect.
Yeah, they are quite good. Yeah. They are quite good, those cards.
Then the next question on the list is, what is your favourite objective card? I can't pick one of them. There's too many awesome options out there now, with all the different, being standing on 2-3 objectives at the end of a phase and all that kind of stuff, to the ones which are like, if you kill someone whilst you're staying on a couple of objectives, or holding one objective in their half and one in your half. There's too many to pick.
That one is a great card. I think I really like that one.
And it's even some. Sorry, Robin. Again. It's even ones like the one where you get glory if all the objectives are held, because objective play is going to get much more focused, I think, in this game. You don't have to worry about necessarily holding all 5.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of taking that for the Oryx, because they've also got pillage. So
that's true.
You might be able to mess somebody up and make that one more easy to score at the same time.
That's true.
And similarly, there's one where if you are on 2 objectives and take somebody out in a turn, that kind of favours Oryx a little bit. That kind of warband, Garrick's Reavers, something like that, where you're likely to take somebody out, but you've also got the numbers to get on a couple of objectives as well. It's quite a nice card. Play Shifting Reflection every day. Yeah, Shifting Reflection is I think a new card.
That's one where you swap people over from 2 objectives, isn't it? Yeah, I could see that getting a lot more use now. We'll quickly cover over a couple of the questions that are in back up in the comments there. VJ Moff has asked, do we think GW will release full faction decks for existing warbands for those that want to play that way? I'm afraid I don't think they will.
No, I don't think they will.
I think
you've nearly got them anyway. I think. I mean, are you one card short from the? I can't remember exactly how many cards you are short.
One card short of a full deck.
Yes. So it's not too far off, but no, I don't think they'll bother.
You could possibly pick like a great speed, great fortitude, great strength, or something like that, and put it in there for the last card that's missing, or something like that.
Because they almost never look back, do they? They don't. No. They almost never look back. So I don't think they're going to do that.
I mean, they've looked back enough.
Blackjack Legacy's here.
Hello.
The celebs are in.
So all the celebs are in the house. Quick, we've got to up our game. A little more professional. Oh god, my machine's setting on fire. It's not going to work. Quickly looking back some over the other questions, VJ said that he's built the Chaos Blitz Bowl team last night, doing the Dark Elves and scaling tomorrow. Are there actual cards for those? Because if there are, I'm interested in that. I can't remember if Chaos came in the box or not. We're gonna have to look into that, Robin, because I could definitely get on board with some more Blitz Bowl.
Okay. Yeah. We have got the box, so we can give that a go.
We have. Timothy's asked, what other warbands are we excited for? I'm quite looking forward to Nurgle.
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to Nurgle too.
Could be the first warband we both want.
Yeah, come up to your plague festering miniatures.
Yeah.
I'm not actually looking forward to the wolves that much, though. I'm interested to see what their mechanic's going to be. And I'm not that bothered about the ogres.
See, I'm quite looking forward to a big ogre model. As long as it's better than Mollog, I'm hoping it doesn't do the same thing as Mollog does and really polarise the games.
But the Nurgle warband I am looking forward to, because I think I've wanted that since not day one, but since season 1.
I think so, yeah. I think I've been the same as well. What else have we got in here? Is there season 1, season 2 band you're particularly excited to bring with the new universals? For me, I think it's Procol Guard or possibly Garrick's Reavers.
Scritch.
You're looking forward to bringing
Eyes of the Nine. Yeah, Scritch I think will be interesting to do. Eyes of the Nine as well. And the Git. Everybody. I'm actually really excited for the game at the moment. I think it's we're kind of looking at our schedule and thinking, when are we going to play Warcry? And I don't know, because I just want to keep playing Underworlds.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same at the minute, and I think I'm excited to play all the warbands except the Stormcast ones. I kind of feel with the new potential for lots of objective play going on, the Stormcast warbands aren't going to do so well out of that, and they don't really excite me.
No, and they don't seem to fit into the new meta, if you like, either. You're right.
No, no, they don't. I mean, maybe they'll be the thing that because they're not like everybody else, they um, can break it by being the impossible to beat warband because everybody else is lower damage, higher model counts or
Maybe.
something like that. But yeah, they just don't really seem to sort of fit in with all the new warbands coming out to me.
I'd like to see Fast Riders make a resurgence because they were always kind of like the poor cousins of the
Yeah, they were a bit.
of the Stormcast.
They
So I
were a
quite like
bit.
them. See, and it'd be interesting to play them against the Grymwatch because their inspire conditions are diametrically opposed.
Yeah, that's true.
So that would be quite interesting.
There's also anonymous Jeff asks, is there a new universal to become quarry and get guard? Yes, there is.
There is,
A
yeah,
few weird quarry cards which are like, this character is on guard. This character is a quarry. If this character is a quarry, they are on guard.
yeah.
And you're like, well, you just
Yeah.
said they were.
I guess there must be ways of taking people off quarry, and that's why
Yes,
it's on
yeah, I
there. But
guess.
it is a curious card. But that's an interesting one. I quite like that way they've done that. It's quite subtle that the quarry is generally negative because it makes you a bit easy to hit and things. But it gives them a subtle positive as well, like putting them on guard. I think it's quite an interesting idea.
There's also no actual negative right now, a blanket negative for being a quarry. There's only a negative to being a quarry
Yes.
if your opponent takes cards which hinge on the target being a quarry. So if those cards which make you better versus a quarry aren't that worth taking, then there's possibly less or no downside to taking those quarry cards.
Yeah, I wonder whether that's what you meant, Jeff. Because he just said it was in response to me talking about Iron Jaws on guard.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I had forgotten that card when I said that. I feel like with a ploy it might be worth it, but I feel like it's an upgrade, isn't it? You play it on somebody as an upgrade. It might work, but I kind of feel like when you've got 10 or 11 cards competing for that, I'm not sure it'll make it the cut. But I will consider it. The deck's not finished by any stretch of the imagination, so I will consider it tomorrow.
Sharky's asking, are there any predictions for the upcoming Goblin Warband? I don't think we've got really any, other than we're wondering if there's going to be some kind of, like the horrors, where when you kill them, you've then got a goblin to deal with after killing the wolf or something weird like that going on. But
Yeah,
I can't
talking
predict.
of the horrors and the warband question, what warband do you want to go? I would like to play Eyes of the Nine with the new meta because again they've got the horror and things to help grab objects, and they've got lots of people, 5 people, quite mobile. I'd be interested to see how they function.
Ed says if the ogres come as a pair, they need to be kit bashed to look like us. Well, you're going to need to find
Ed,
like
if you want to do that,
you're going to need to find a
Ed.
Noblar to be my character, to be me. I think you need
I don't
something
know.
short. Just looking through. God, there's hundreds of comments trying to catch up with them all. Do we listen to any Underworlds podcasts? I have to say, I don't. I don't listen to any.
I do, but
really.
irregularly. I listen to What the Hex and Path to Glory.
Yes,
Is it Path to Glory? Yeah.
I've
Or
just
Battle
lied a
Down
bit.
to
I've
Us.
said I don't, and I do try and listen to those every
Yeah.
now and then, but I don't listen to them very often.
No.
It's finding the time, because if I've got time to listen to a podcast, that generally means I've got time to do battle reports, and so I'm
Yeah.
trying to get them done instead. So
I sometimes listen while I'm cooking the dinner. But
yeah, I
yeah.
guess I've got Spotify, so I could download some of these onto my Spotify and listen to them when I'm at work and pretending to be paying attention in a meeting or something like that. Or I could listen to them at other points. So I should try and get into that a bit more. It would help me tune into the meta a bit more, I think.
Yes, yeah. Although that said, I took some advice from podcasts for my Grand Clash deck, which I keep saying I'm not going to talk about anymore, but keeps coming up.
Not that I'm bitter about it. Not that I'm bitter about it.
No, so I think I'm just going to plough my own furrow in future.
Ooh, VJ Moll says that Barnes & Noble have just released Blitz Bowl team boxes, blah 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 blah, with cards for Skaven, Chaos Undead, and Halflings. So could be interesting.
To the Barnes & Noble website.
Do we? Go! Right, I'm still trying to catch up with all the comments people have put in. So the next question, I'll give this one to you, Robin. You can answer it whilst I read some more. Is this your favourite season so far? If so, why?
Is this a question from Andrew?
This is another Andrew question, yeah.
It's hard to tell at the moment, but I'm going to go with yes. Red Rose Wargaming's here too. Hello. All the celebs are in. It's great having everybody here. It's really nice to get a community feel. People chatting in the comments is brilliant.
Yes. Definitely good.
To go back to what you said, I feel like it's my favourite season. I really enjoyed the game at the beginning, but I didn't really know it was going to be a season then. You know what I mean? We didn't really know what the game was, so we enjoyed our first games with Severin and Garrick, but we didn't quite know what we were doing.
Not a clue. And if you watch the first game ever, I think at one point we had like one of us scored 2 successes. They're like, oh, so he does 3 damage and that's 2 successes. That's 6 damage. Wow, you're dead. Wow, this game's brutal.
But it's funny you should say that, because I happened to notice on Facebook somebody asked that question, whether that happened. So it's clearly still a thing people wonder about.
It's not necessarily completely unobvious, because it just mentions successes. So you assume a success is damage, and if you do 3 damage, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. So I think because I got into a bit of a negative streak on Nightfall at the end with all the cards, I think the combination of the rotation and the new the way they've really got some quite nice control cards, I think it's really opening up the tactics of the game, which I really like. So yes, I would say at the moment Beastgrave is my favourite incarnation so far.
We've got a question by Wolf Crispies, my favourite kind of breakfast cereal. What's a good resource for learning how to play? Best to play different warbands. Well, if you watch us, you'll see the best way to not play the warbands. I think there's the
Well of Power has lots of stuff.
Well of Power's got tons of links to different podcasts, blogs, YouTube channels, all that kind of stuff. So check that out, and I think they've got a function on there where you can actually filter by a certain warband, which looks quite cool. So you can actually say, give me everything that's got Garrick's Reavers in, for example, that kind of thing. So that looks quite cool. So check them out.
I think it's hard to know. I feel like you kind of almost have to play them yourself, and because it depends what cards you own, and it depends how you like to play, and so in some ways, for me, most of the fun of the game is working that out. And quite often you read things of how people play, you just think, well, I would never play that, because that's just not how I play. So it's an interesting question. But I know a lot of people. There is a whole blog devoted to playing with the Gits, which is really great. I enjoy reading that one. So start with Well of Power. So if you want to play Gits, look at the Gits guys. I don't know what blog. And then I think various podcasts have had focuses. I'll tell you who else does good ones, and that's Steel City Shadespire. They do very good faction focus blog posts. So there you go.
Obviously, do also look out for Red Rose Wargaming Blackjack Legacy for back reps as well.
Yeah.
Little.
And Justin, don't forget Justin.
Don't forget Justin as well. Yeah, the Battlecast.
He has people on who talked about how to play stuff as well. But I mean, I don't think he's covered all the warbands, but he has had people on talking about them. So yeah, Justin
Blackjack,
is.
I think was just. Sorry, go.
Justin is what's his? I forgot the name of his YouTube channel. It's just completely gone. Battlecast. Thank you.
Battlecast. I just said that.
Did you? Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't listening to you. I wasn't listening to you as usual.
Never listened to me. Right, someone asked, who was it? It was Red Rose Wargaming. I think it was, or was it Blackjack?
It's just
I can't find the comment now. Can't find the comment. Where's the comment? Have we played any Beastgrave versus Dreadflane? We haven't yet.
We haven't. We don't actually own Dreadfane, and we've pushed it off back to Matt, who sent it to us. So we don't have the Dreadfane warbands card. We have the warbands because we have the miniatures, but we don't have the cards.
Yeah, he very generously sent them over to us so we could play a couple of games. We just haven't. We didn't have them at the same time. We figured people would want to see the new Beastgrave stuff, and in fact, I think we put a question up on YouTube and said, "Do people want to see Beastgrave versus Dreadfane?" And no one said.
So it's about 4%, I think, wasn't it, of people wanted to see.
I think that was one of the people who voted. So no one wanted it at the time. But hopefully, once those warbands come out and we get those into the rotation, hopefully at some point we'll have time to do those matchups, because it'd be nice to see how they fare.
Zach has asked, do you think GW have deliberately produced more faction cards with these new warbands to encourage people to use more faction-heavy decks? I think so.
I hope so.
I think so, but I think also it's because it cuts down a little bit on bloat, and they haven't got to make quite so many useless universal cards. And I feel like maybe that I hope, I think I've said this the last 2 weeks, but I hope they move to a tournament format alongside their normal tournament format where people just play the factions. I think it breathes a whole new deck building. It brings a whole new lease of life into the game for people like that, and people can just pick up the warband that they want to play, and hopefully there's a nice scene of people who want to play like that, and there's people who just play each other just with a minimal outlay. And to be honest, I think from Games Workshop's perspective, they're probably better getting lots of people to make a small outlay than a smaller group of people putting out a big outlay, I think.
I agree. That does segue quite nicely into Andrew's next question, which was, do you think if you had a tournament where you can use only faction cards, would it be fair/balanced? I have to say possibly not, based on what I know. So what the experience I've had so far of the despoilers, their cards do not appear to be great.
Yeah, I think that balancing that is going to be really hard.
I mean, maybe I'm playing them badly, and I'll hold my hand up to that, or maybe I'm not playing them in the style that they should be played in to score those objectives. But so far, I'm not particularly convinced that their deck is great, because you look at some of the objectives that some of the other people have, and they're just so much better than the despoiler ones.
But we haven't played them against you yet. But I feel like, having played both, the Hunt and the Grymwatch are fairly well balanced. So I suspect in that format,
that's the other game we're playing tomorrow.
GW being what they are, I suspect there's going to be 3 or 4 better warbands than the other 3 or 4.
I think so. It's just the nature of it.
Yeah, like the other 4 or 5, I suppose it would be. But I just think it's going to be really hard to get a complete balance across the way. But
someone mentioned one of the Grand Clashes was going to, one of the Grand Clashes recently had faction trophies. So if you were the first in your faction, I can't remember who mentioned it. I like the idea of doing that as well, because then it encourages you to think, well, actually, no one's going to take Fast Riders, so I'm going to take Fast Riders. If the only thing out of that is that I can get a trophy for being the top Fast Riders player, that kind of thing encourages people to take other warbands as well, I think.
Yeah.
A couple of questions in the chat as well. Some people saying that they suck or they hate deck building, and I am terrible at deck building. Hate it.
I think I've said this the last 2 weeks. I don't mind deck building, but I'm not that great at it. And also, I feel completely much freer playing the faction decks. I just feel like if it's not working, then these are the tools. You've got these tools. Everybody's got these tools, and you've got to make them work as best you can. But if you've built your own deck, you find yourself sort of cursing yourself halfway through the game. You haven't got any of that. So, and I just love that. So I do prefer.
One of the decks I built a while ago, I remember going through it and then thinking, oh, I've got cover ground. And at some point during my process of whittling down the cards, I took out all the cards to give me extra movement. So I literally can't score cover ground. I'm just an absolute idiot. So that's one aspect of it that I hate, in that sometimes I can make absolute cock-ups. Or I find myself building things where I think, oh, I've got this objective and this ploy, so I'll be able to do this and it'll all be great. And the cards never come out like that, so I just need to stop trying to build those combos up, because it just never works.
And we've got a new player coming in. Rydro Casto says he's a new player, and he finds it great to pick up Beastgrave as a new player, which is really good, and that's obviously what GW want.
Yep, make it as easy as possible, as approachable and as accessible as possible, and hopefully Rydro, you are along for the ride and you'll be watching us every week.
I hope so.
VJ says, so we got sent Grymwatch. Is this the first freebie we got? We do get the base games.
Yeah, and we have had some of the warbands in the past.
Yeah, it's all stopped.
We get the odd random thing, like we got Necromunda, which is, but we got Warcry,
which is awesome, but we've never played it, unfortunately.
We unboxed it, I think, and looked at it, but we don't even have further than that.
Yeah,
not enough time.
We got 40k.
We did, and
we got Blood Bowl.
We did. Blood Bowl was wrong. What way though? I think I got those partly as being with Geek Dads, because Geek Dad I reviewed them, and it's kind of followed on now, and we get more. I get more Underworld stuff because of this than Geek Dad. Geek Dad, I'd probably just get the base box, but now we get the extras too, which is lovely.
Yep. Ed's asking how we feel about them releasing the Warbands solo. From a purely selfish content creator point of view, I love it.
I think it's better. I think it's better.
Yeah, because you get, instead of getting 60 universal cards, of which you only really rate 5 of them, and then you don't use most of them from one of the warbands, you get you'll just get 29 for some weird reason, 29 cards or 27 cards or whatever it is, but you have a bit more time to try them.
Yeah, and I think we all like the fact that we all like buying stuff as well. So have that spread out from like to 8 weekends through the year, from from 4. It's just nicer. So I think it's a good move.
Yes, I am especially quite fond of that idea. So the next one, next favourite upgrade, ploy/gambit. So both of those, favourite upgrade, favourite ploy or gambit.
Okay, well, I don't know whether you meant from the new boxes or the old ones, but for the new box, I'm going to go with Larval Lance.
Could be quite a cool one. Yeah, that could be quite cool.
I just love it. I don't care whether it's any good or not. It's the one where
you get 1 dice in the first round, second in the third. Yeah.
His attack dice correspond to the round. So if it's 3 hammers, three damage in the final round, and I think it's a little nod because it's in the Grymwatch box. I actually think it's a little nod to the Bretonnians because it's a lance.
Yeah, there's that. The larval.
There you go. See, I'm getting in on the act now too. But I just think it's a really fun card, and it's a lance, and I love lances. So
who doesn't?
Exactly.
I quite like. I'm not sure. I quite like Survival Instinct. It's a shame now that there isn't Change of Tactics anymore, which used to be on guard and charge, because you put Survival Instinct to someone, they become a quarry and they immediately go on guard, which is pretty handy. There's a few others that I quite like. I think we talked about this one, Path to Victory, which is hold 1 objective, hold 2 objectives, and take someone out of action. So it encourages a bit of that sort of.
That's not a ploy or an upgrade.
No, sorry, that's an objective. I know, but shush. Sorry. But there's just a lot of different cards in there now that I can't decide which ones I really like. I like loads of them.
My new favourite ploy is Mirror Move.
Yeah,
it's not new, but before it used to get forgotten. But now, because there's quite a lot of push ploys in the new warbands, it's really powerful. It's because some of those push ploys are like push people 2 or 3 hexes. And suddenly Mirror Move is great, especially with some well-placed lethal hexes. You can find yourself pushing yourself 3 hexes to get out an objective. Meanwhile, while your opponent then uses Mirror Move to push you through 2 lethal hexes and kill somebody else on the other side of the board. I just think it's brilliant, and it's because it's kind of like just another fighter. It's not like one of your fighters or an enemy fighter. It's got loads of potential. So I think Mirror Move is my current favourite card.
Rob Sharp says he likes Seized Weapon. I like Seized Weapon just for the idea of it. Because he's ripping the guy's arm off and you immediately do a damage to someone next to you, which I quite like that sort of. I mean, if you rip someone's arm off and you're only doing 1 damage, how tough are these guys?
Yeah.
That's pretty brutal stuff. But yes, I do like that. There are just too many cards right now for me to be able to pick the ones I like. Because I like a lot of the despoiler ones where there's like Vile Invaders where you can push 2 people 2 hexes. I mean, can you imagine Nightvault, what you would have given for that card?
Yeah.
Because we had I can't remember what it was. There was a ploy in Nightvault which was push 2 people 1 hex each or something like that. But now this is push 2 people 2 hexes, and it's just getting monstrous.
Yeah, Rob says it's a damage ploy and upgrade in 1. It's superb. Yes, it is. It is good.
Very nice. So the next question on the list from Andrew is, when are the Grymwatch released? This Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah. We've got our pre-order for our second box.
Yep. It's a bit greedy to write to GW and say, we know you sent your ones for free.
We need
another one. Because what Rob and I are going to have to do is we're going to have to put other cards into our decks whilst we're playing. And when we suddenly pick up, I can't think of any shades, but when we pick up like Shade Glass Dagger, we're going to have to know that means like Seized Weapon or something like that. Cause, Wolf Crispies asks, as a new player, would you recommend any particular warband to learn?
Good question. Do chip in everybody else on this one, because you've probably all got an opinion on what the best warband to learn is. It's a tough one. I think
the Hunt aren't bad. They're
the Scale Squad, they probably are quite good. They probably are quite good. Their extra rules aren't that complicated. Like the Grymwatch one is I think it's quite complicated.
It can be a bit more fiddly.
And but I think of the new ones, the Hunt, and of the older ones, I'm not sure. Maybe. Thundrix is a good choice. But
I'm not sure about Chosen Axes, Ridley. I think you might be a bit biased.
Magor's good too. 4 people, 4 activations.
Magor's give you that solid. Okay, I've got 4 people. I can charge with each of them. Job done.
But I don't actually like Magor's. And I suppose I'd say because Mollog isn't. Although Mollog is fairly. He's fairly one-dimensional. I think if you haven't played the game before, you can get caught out with playing Mollog. Curse Breakers. Yeah, Curse Breakers is also good. Lots of choices there. Sorry, Wolf Crispies.
I think it may be. Yes, Ridley, we think you're a little bit biased, but we love you for it. Me especially because so I'm assuming if you had to kill one of us, it'd be Robin and not me. So I think I think your answer, Wolf Crispies, or your question, which is who would I recommend to play with. I guess my response, I would answer that question with a question. I would say, what kind of game do you want to play? Do you want to play Do you want to play an offensive warband? Do you want to, just be attacking left, right, and centre? And then there's still a lot of warbands that can cover that. Or do you want like a small elite unit of troops, or do you want a big set of guys? If you have Thundrix, they're a pretty solid warband to play. And they can do a lot of stuff. They've got some hard hitters in there, and they've got the good range.
Check out Hexes and Warbands. Aman Cursos is one of our patrons, and he's won Glencrashers and things. He played them for a few times. He's played them, and he's got some good tips on how to play Thundrix. It's probably with a full card set, so you haven't got a full card set, and of course it will be with Shadespire stuff. But he's got a few good tips on how to play Thundrix. But Thundrix are good.
Yeah, I think Thundrix are quite. They're pretty solid. They've got a good wound count. They all increase in wounds when they inspire. They've got a fairly easy inspire mechanic as well.
Although harder now, you've got a reduced number of.
You can still take 6.
Score of surge cards. But six to inspire 5 is much less desirable than 8 to do 5. Yeah, cool.
Plus, you're also saying, it's really hard to inspire all 5 before the end of the first activation, whereas some warbands can't inspire any before the end of the first activation. I
didn't say that.
No, I know. But whilst it's maybe a little harder for them, you can still get 6 instant scores, and you can score 3 objectives in the end of a phase as well. So you can still get them all inspired pretty easy.
Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Actually, it's not score immediately ones, is it? I was thinking it's score immediately one, but it's not. It's
actually loads of those because you can get them inspired early. All right, I win! Hurrah! We've got some more questions as well. If you want to have fun, always say Skaven. Yeah, I always enjoy Skaven, although I find them frustrating because I always want to do more with them than I'm probably capable of doing with them. So I always end up doing terribly.
The Grymwatch do seem like the new Skaven, so I would agree with that.
Skaven,
that comment as well.
Or either Skaven Plus or Sepulchral Guard Plus. Yeah. Because I think they cover sort of both, and they've got the speed to just destroy the Sepulchral Guard as well.
Can't believe nobody said Eyes of the Nine in this discussion. It's terrible.
I wonder where that is. Maybe it's because you can have 2 fighters who are going to die immediately after starting the game, before anyone's rolled any dice. Well, it says on their card I've got to take them off once we start the game. I don't really understand that, but there we go. Gits are a good one as well. Gits can be a bit chaotic though, and you just end up. I find you just get a bit focused on the Fanatic because he's great fun to just send spinning off around the board, and then you realise that you haven't moved any of the rest of your players. Magic was a big thing in Nightfall. Do you think the same status as before in Beastgrave? I think Magic's still going to play a role, but we've already seen one warband come out that doesn't have a caster in it, and we're probably going to look at least another couple that don't. So
yeah, it's a difficult one, that one. I think it isn't going to be as big. Isn't there only one spell in the new warband pack?
Yes, but there was only one, I think, in the Nightfall pack as well.
Yeah, but I actually mean in the Grymwatch as well.
See.
One spell. Yeah, I think, and so there are a few faction spells in the thingy, but the new the Beastmen don't seem particularly good for Magic, and the Wild Hunt, they can do it, but it's not their raison d'etre. I don't think.
Yeah. VJ asks us, how do we manage our card storage in the Discord channel? Do we keep a full set of cards each at home, or do they stay in the garage? We each have our own set and we store them.
I don't.
Or at least I store them in one of these.
No, I do have one of those. In fact, I've got 2 of those.
I've got one.
I've only got one of those.
One of them was completely full last time with all of the Night Vault and Shadespire cards, and I've taken all the Shadespire cards out now. And I'm starting to fill it up with it's got all the Night Vault ones, and it'll have the Beastgrave ones, and you can fit about 2 seasons of cards in. We'll fill that up. And I've got another one which is almost full already with all the warband specific cards. So I'm going to have to get another one of these to finish off all the warband specific ones.
And I do the same, but I've got some little plastic card boxes that I put in I put each faction deck, and then I have the others split across 2 or 3 card boxes. They hold about 50 cards, and so that keeps them all together. And I can put a deck in there and take it where I'm going, just in the plastic box. So
they don't stay in the garage. In case anybody was thinking about breaking in the garage and nicking all the cards, they're not there.
There is some stuff in the garage, but
Just hundreds of pounds worth of lighting.
The cards aren't.
Stuff.
Because they get damp in there in the winter, in particular, they get the cards aren't there.
Yeah, we could really do with a studio, but it's just an expense that we can't. Can't do that as well.
No.
The boxes themselves are called Archive, and I think you can get them for about 20 odd quid, and it seems expensive when you can just get a cardboard box, but they're really nice finish.
They're
really
nice.
solid, so they're
but I have to say the folders that they do are nice too. They're ultimate card, and I know you're not so keen on the folders, but I quite like the folders. And I think the only reason I went to an Archive is because this Nightball had too many cards for a folder. But I don't think Beastgrave will, so maybe I'll go back to a folder.
BJ reckons that maybe the Inspire conditions seem to be getting easier and easier with each season. Depends. I think some of the Nightfall warbands really had a problem with inspiring. I mean, the Hunt was quite a tricky one, and yeah, it's just plain objective on them, plain upgrade on them, and they inspire. But you've got to get the glory to be able to buy the upgrades in the first place, and they didn't get that good when they were inspired either. And I'm not sure the Despoiler's inspired mechanic is that great.
No, and the Grymwatches are quite tricky too.
Can be if your opponent remembers it.
Well, yeah. You managed to keep me in the game that we played. You managed to keep me.
First round, you were completely. It wasn't until the end of the second round that you actually managed to inspire. But again, inspiration seems to be less of a big thing in this version. People don't become super mega
Wigglefish,
awesome.
Yeah. Wigglefish.
They don't seem to get much more insane when they're inspired. I think there was a big jump for some warbands when they got inspired. Like I think all the Gits got 2 dodges once they inspired, that kind of thing, which is actually quite a useful thing to have. But I think in this season, inspiration is less of a thing, but it's nice to have if you can get it, but it's less amazing than in previous seasons, maybe.
Interestingly, Wigglefish says Grymwatch is super easy to inspire. It's not. I've only played one game with them, so I'm not an expert. They I think if your opponent knows that remembers what your inspire condition is, I think it's quite tricky.
And it depends on the cards as well.
Yeah. That is the Wild Hunt VJ that inspires just by charging. It does, but the problem with that is that you charge and then they're quite vulnerable because they're not that strong.
They've only got 1 dodge, maybe 3 wounds. They could charge, not have enough damage to kill someone, and then die to a counter charge fairly easily. Yeah,
so it's but they are. You're right. They are they're quite nice when they're inspired. If you can keep whatever there's one who's particularly good at fighting, and Sheikh, you can keep them alive after his charge. Then it gets pretty. They get pretty tasty.
They could also struggle against like the Gits or something like that. There's 50 of them. We can't get any of them out. So yeah, swings and roundabouts, I think. You also have the problem that if you have something like Keep Them Guessing or something like that, you don't want to charge a lot of the time, so then you can't inspire you guys. Yeah, and then you Keep Them Guessing is quite a good objective for them because of the horn. People tend to play, but that is a reason for not playing Keep Them Guessing, I think. And another thing that Wigglefish pointed out is it's easier for faster, larger warbands to stop inspiration in Grymwatch. Definitely. And also, if you're Grymwatch and you get to choose the board rotation, you probably want to go for long ways or offset as much as possible. And we were discussing this at the end of our game, which is if you offset it and then you can just block that gap with bodies with a few early moves or multi moves, I kind of messed that up in that game. Then you can stop people just getting in. Yeah. Too. I keep getting confused with the Hunt as well, Jeff. The Hunt, Grymwatch, There's 2 Hunt. The Wild Hunt and the Godsworn Hunt. And the other guy, the Godsworn Hunt. Yes. Right. So what other questions we've got? Are there any cards which you think will be on the bar list? That's a Andrew question. Yes, another Andrew question. I meant to look at that. I can't think of any off the top of my head, and I meant to go back and have a look, and I did. So I don't know the answer to that, I'm afraid. I don't think so. There's nothing I thought, wow, that's overpowered. Yeah, I don't think there's anything massively, wow, that's insane. No, they all seem to be balanced enough that you sit and think, that's not bad, but it does, pigeonhole you a bit into certain ways of doing things. Yeah, there aren't that many. What's the word I'm looking for? There aren't that many universal cards out, new ones really, because there aren't very many in the new box. No, 5 ones. I think. And with the increased faction cards in the
small box and only one box being released, there aren't really that many new ones anyway.
No,
so
that's true.
I don't think there's anything too horrible yet.
Justin says he can't wait to see if they release a Nurgle Warband. I think we're as sure as we can be there will be a Nurgle Warband. We've seen several card artworks that have Nurgle on them. I think it's great.
Actually, I thought you were going to say that for your favourite card question.
That is a good point. The Magic's Many Legs thing with the spider leggy thing just looks awesome. And because of that and the other cards, Justin, I do believe that we will be getting a Nurgle Warband sometime in the very nearest future.
Yeah.
Gareth asked, do we think Snarlfangs will have a move of 6 inspired? They're kind of better.
Possibly so.
They probably should.
Possibly so, yeah. The bat has 6 moves, so I reckon the Wolves
I think that's a given then. Yep.
Yeah. Calculated risk got upper hand going away.
What, as in getting banned completely?
Yeah. I was thinking of the new cards, but yes, you're right. Wigglefish upper hand could get banned. I don't think calculated risk will.
I'm still not sold that upper hand's the best card in the world. It's handy to make sure you get a guaranteed attack in, or it's handy if your dice are really close to just giving that edge, but bear in mind if you fail the roll, it's still no use, and if you pass the roll, it's no use. So it's only certain situations where it's useful, and it's not like Ready for Action, which was a whole extra attack, or Time Trap, which gave you the chance to possibly get 2 whole attacks off in one go, that kind of thing. So I don't think it's that damaging.
They need to re-FAQ calculated risk so you can't score that martyred all the time in the same go.
Yes.
That makes it stupid.
I think that was a stupid ruling. We've had this before. Yeah. They've had some really stupid rulings, and I do think that is a stupid ruling.
Yeah. Right.
Daniel also says he hopes that the Nurgle Warband has a caster and it looks like one from the card with all the legs. Yeah, I can't work out if the one from the card is the one that's had because I think the spell is you cast it on other people to give them extra moves. So I do think there's a caster because I think there's I think the spell you get in the box, I can't remember what it's called, but I think it gives you +1 defense till the end of that round or something. I think that is a Nurgle caster. So I think it is a Nurgle caster. So I'm pretty certain you're going to see a Nurgle caster. Maybe it'll probably be a three-man warband. Something like that.
You think? I was hoping for the Nurglings.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure if we're going to get Nurglings. I think we're going to get like 3 Chaos Warriors. We've only got a couple of Underworld, a couple of Patreon questions left. Do you think that the objective ploy? Do we think objective play is making a serious comeback? Right now, I think so.
We've discussed that a lot, but yes, I think we do. Yeah, definitely.
And will the Earthing Stone upgrade actually be useful now? Which one's Earthing
Possibly.
Stone?
Possibly. Everybody can't remember what Earthing Stone does. I can completely remember. It's the one if you're standing on an objective, it's an upgrade. And if you're standing on an objective, or nobody counts, it doesn't count as an objective.
Yeah, I reckon that could be. Yeah, that could be a really.
So I think that could be useful.
I can see,
depending on what else happens, I suppose, in the with new cards. But I feel like at the moment it's got potential. But I also feel like a lot of people are going to be playing objectives again, so they might not want to have it because it could screw up their own plans.
There is that. I could see a all-offensive, no objective based warband taking that as a real.
But then you have to stand on an objective.
You do, but
which you might not want to do.
If you've got like Thundrix, where everybody's got a ranged weapon, you can charge, but do it from range, that kind of thing. So there's
Thundrix, or even no, not them actually. I was thinking of putting on my Oryx, maybe. Yeah. Leaving Basher in the backfield.
Yeah, just sitting there, looking a bit bored, but helping cause that kind of problem, because that causes you a lot of issues where you've got the ones where you've got to hold an objective in your opponent's territory, or hold one in yours and one in theirs. You kind of really...
defensive Oryx would be quite good for them.
It could be,
and absolute horrible for Chosen Axes.
Yeah,
Ridley.
Yeah, we're up to 43 watches now, and I can't remember if we hit that last time, or if that might be a new PB for us. So thank you everybody for signing in and listening along. Hopefully we're not talking too much nonsense for you, or just the
Red Rose Wargaming is building an objective-ized deck, which I really want to do too. So do let me know how you get on with that, because that's what I want to play the eyes soon, and I was thinking of doing that. So I'm interested to know how that goes.
Sharky is looking forward to the Daughters of Cain warband, hoping they'll have some nice dynamic sculpts.
Oh, I'd forgotten those.
They could be pretty sexy, and not in a weird sort of creepy looking at models of women sexy, but actually just sculpts.
I just came back to you saying sexy. I was reading the question. As Justin said, we are still to see any cards that use the flipping over of the ejector because there's one spell which I don't think anybody will ever take. because it's like 2 focus, and then you roll a dice, and if you get a lightning for each feature token, they call it flips.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure that. But no, I think it's going to be all we've seen. I don't know how often that's going to get taken.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would ever take it, because 2 foci is a pretty tall order for most warbands. So yeah, I'm not really sure about that one. Wigglefish says Swift Capture, which is the dual surge. Scroll immediately if you have after an activation, if your warband holds an objective and you hold one in each territory. I think that is a nice one. Swift Capture is nice, and Path to Victory, which is the one where you have to kill someone and hold 2 objectives. They're both very nice.
Yeah, I think I put that in my current Orruk deck, and then had to take it out because I had too many surge cards.
That is definitely a problem I've had in all the decks where I've been able to build my warband. However, I build my decks, I've really quickly maxed out my 6 surge cards, and whilst it's really difficult to get around that, I think that's a really good sign that they've put that 6 card limit in the game. It's really making you suddenly think, just like the bar list, you've now got this other dimension to it where you've got to sit and go, oh crap, now I've got to.
I think it's better. In some ways, I feel like you ought to. It would be too. I think it would be too difficult to police, but I kind of felt like perhaps it should only be universal surge cards, because I think one of them was, I put an Orruk one in, which actually wasn't that easy to score, but it was just thematically interesting. And now I think I've still got it in there, but it's kind of like you don't want to be making those sorts of choices, I don't think. But I think this keeps it simple. Flat 6 is simple, so that's fair enough.
Quick Def Matt has mentioned on our Discord channel, have we noticed Madness Dart, which is the poison, which basically switches the fighter's attack characteristic to the swords instead of whatever they had previously, which is only hammers anyway. This effect persists until the chosen fighter is taken out of action. Madness Dart not only nerfs fighters like Mollog, but also completely negates spell attack actions. Good point. Yes, it does.
I hadn't noticed that.
It does completely negate spell attack actions. And anybody who's not really sure what the hell that means is if it just says attack dice, which that card does. Let me just double check before I realise I'm talking nonsense here. But the card itself, Madness Dart, says choose any one fighter adjacent to one or more friendly fighters. The chosen fighter's attack actions have swords instead of their printed characteristic. So it's just attack action, and a ranged spell attack action is still an attack action. So yes, you could use that.
Would it because then you roll spell dice.
Yeah, you roll spell dice. You can't roll no swords on them.
Oh yes,
crits still count.
They can still crit. Yes, good point, Wigglefish.
But that still gives you that. It still reduces their chances of getting a hit from 50% down to 1 in 6.
Yeah.
1 in 60%. No, wait a minute. But yes, that's a really nice card. That one. That could be the card which makes people suddenly realise that maybe they don't want to bother with Mollog anymore.
Maybe. I'm not sure it's that good, but
there's no roll required. It's just a ploy. You just play it on somebody. Bam. Done.
Yeah, I think so. But I think if you're looking at playing in a tournament and you're playing however many other warbands, and an awful lot of warbands where that's basically useless, I think.
But one of the things I always noticed, or one of the things that happened in Nightfall, and it might not happen so much in this version now, but one of the things in Nightfall was the standard put all your upgrades on, whoever you've got. I can't remember Vortimus or Stormsire or somebody like that. Get all your upgrades on them and have them doing like 3 damage at range with their spell attack action.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So that's useful for that, and useful for Mollog as well. Or the other thing was get somebody with Tomb of Offerings who beefed up to the eyeballs with a load of upgrades. Quite often it seemed to focus around doing that, and if you get that card, you can
maybe I'm wrong. Jeff seems to be too good, so maybe I'm wrong.
It only affects one person. But it may be. It could be really useful, but I agree with you though that it won't be much use against anybody who decides to go for a more balanced warband approach. It's like you put it on the hunt, you'd be like, okay, cool, I've got 4 other people that can do the same thing, so I don't really care.
No, I think definitely it does stop the meta sort of swinging towards one, like you say, one beefed up spellcaster or one beefed up mob, which is good.
Puts a severe question mark around taking that approach when you've got that possibility hanging over your head. One of the only other questions we had from our Patreoners asked earlier on was from Malachi, apologies if I've got that horribly wrong, which was how balanced and playable do we think the faction-only decks have been so far, and we've kind of covered that, which is some are more balanced and better than others.
Some warbands are more equal than others.
Yes, exactly. Some warbands.
4 legs good, 2 legs bad. The What Scares Wild Hunt are good, and the Beastmen aren't. There you go.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm quite pleased with myself now.
So there we go. We're done with all of our questions from our Patreoners, unless they decide to ask any more whilst we're sitting here. Ed's leaving, so see you later, Ed. He's got to get up at 5:30 for work. That is
okay.
Doesn't sound fun.
No.
We have about 5 minutes left. 5 minutes left of
pigs. We need a pig warband. Brilliant. Yes.
War pigs. You have to play the
ham.
Yeah, you have to ham it up when you're playing. No,
yes,
sorry.
Absolutely.
You have to play the. Is it Ozzy Osbourne or is it Black Sabbath who did War Pigs? I can't remember. I think it's Black Sabbath.
Baconade. Anyway.
Oh dear. Anonymous Jeff says, "Do you have any upgrades for the garage to see you through winter?"
I think Jeff asked that earlier as well. I forgot to answer it. No, we don't think we do. I've patched up the bits of insulation that fell off over the summer. I've put them back up again.
Good.
But I don't think we've got too much to do. I don't think really. It was pretty chilly last week though, so maybe we'll upgrade.
But we didn't put the heating on very much.
No,
last
we
weekend.
did turn the heating off actually, didn't we? But then when we came out, it was like, oh, it's cold.
Which makes you wonder, maybe we're missing a trick here.
Yeah, I find it. I find it. The heater. This is a really boring thing to finish. I think, but the heater makes the air really stuffy. So I struggle with the heating on. For too long. But anyway, there you go.
Yeah, we need more Duarden to sort of sit on top of us with their big bushy beards, maybe.
The garage. There's enough
in the garage. Yeah. I feel like if we ever, I feel the new expansion's height is a little bit. Yeah, you're right. I feel like if we ever really start to take off any more, and we get any kind of more serious income, we would possibly.
Has to be warmer if I can take anything off.
I feel we would. We would possibly look to maybe finding somewhere that we could then play, but right now we've got too many other things that we need to buy first, like a machine that can stream without everything being horribly laggy.
Yeah, but it would be nice. It's one of those things though, because it would be quite expensive to hire a studio type play or somewhere we could use as a studio, and you just think, well, actually, it's not. We've got somewhere that functions. It's not worth putting. It's not worth putting the money into a better place, a better space. It's functional. Even if we can't feel our fingers by the end of the session.
So we lose a finger or two to frostbite. We don't need them all anyway. We can count to 10 on our phones.
Primaris Lieutenant Warband. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I kind of wonder whether they might try and make a. It's got 1 minute left, so let's wildly speculate. I wonder whether they might try and make a 40k, a 40k equivalent. I don't quite know how it would work, but
they started to do that combat arena thing, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Did anyone ever play Combat Arena?
I think that's more of a kids game though, isn't it, or a cut down game? I'd be interested to see. I think it's got legs because obviously the 40k IP is massive. If the game was good, there is.
Would it have legs or would it have wheels?
Galasath, what is Patreon?
What is Patreon? Patreon is the way you can support us and get even more games out of it. We do stuff on Patreon. Do check it out in the description. There is a link in there. You can go and have a look. We try and get 2-3 games extra a month in just for our Patreon supporters, and all our Patreon supporters get all the games a week early usually and ad free. So maybe you want to have a look.
It's a little subscription thing, and you can you can just pay a couple of dollars a month or $5 a month, and you get different levels. And we talk a bit more in there. And we show extra stuff, behind the scenes stuff in there as well. So if you haven't looked, have a look. Just go and check it out. It's free to go and look at.
Yes, but you have to pay to get. But it's like you can get like for $5 a month, which is it's not a lot. You can get a lot of little extras out of it.
We're going to sell our houses by the end of the
year. Anonymous Jeff says move north, land is cheap. Well, we had a friend who moved north years ago, and he has a pretty big house, which costs probably not much more than my house does. But I live down the south, so he has about twice as much space. And yeah,
actually,
I wish I could.
My wife is going to start working from home in the new year, so we actually could move to the north, but I think that might make it difficult playing against Pete.
Would be trickier. Would be a little trickier. We have discussed in the past about trying things like Tabletop Simulator, or I can't remember what the other one's called. There's another one out there that you can sort of play online.
Not the same though. But
Which one? Oh, Vassal. Yeah.
But the Patreon, the best part is the Discord. Yes, you could also, if you do sign up to Patreon, you can get the link to the Discord, so we all chat in there. And it's all the top secret things go on in there.
I kind of feel like Red Rose Wargaming said that it's fun up north. I kind of feel like if we were near the Lead Belt,
I thought it was Grim.
Maybe
up
we'd.
Well, that was
It's a bit both.
Okay.
Grim up north. But I figure if we were up north nearer the Lead Belt, maybe we'd get a bit more in with the GW crew, and maybe we could get on their Twitch channel and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
never
going to happen. Not that bitter.
No, I actually grew up in Birmingham, so I'm from getting towards the north.
Getting towards that way.
Yeah.
We did challenge GW once. We did say we'll take you on the channel, and they never responded. So I can only assume that's because they're scared.
They can't cope with their witty banter.
They can't.
Southern California, now there's somewhere I'd like to move to.
Yeah, that's the alternative, right? Move to a country that's so warm all the time you can literally play outside in your pants, and you're not really going to care.
Red Rose Wargaming says Nottingham isn't north. I'm not sure where Red Rose is from, but we've got a friend who's from Chesterley Street up in County Durham, and he's always going on about basically anything. I don't know where anything north of Sheffield is. Anything Sheffield below is south.
Yeah. Whereas for me, it's like anything north of the Thames is sort of north for me.
Yeah, even I live in the north.
And Wigfish says he's done a few cam games on his Twitch. We'll have to check those out. Are you called the Wigglefish on Twitch? Just so I know. Do let us know in the comments. Be interested to see how that went for you.
The Red Rose, of course. Silly me. Sorry, Red Rose.
Anonymous Jeff, your comment got blocked to start with on YouTube. I just had to because it had Cockney on it.
Yeah.
And being an American system, they can't. It's just assuming that whatever you just wrote was terrible. So I kind of think we've reached a natural end to the.
We do seem to have done. Now location, offers of moving all over the world.
Yes, it's all going all over the place. We just need to be somewhere else that's not in the south, that's expensive and cold.
Yeah.
I think is the answer to this.
Antarctica. That's
Path to Glory Gaming on Twitch. I shall look into that one. Wigglefish, thank you very much for that. You did a cam game last night. Wicked. Nice one.
Yeah. I think
we'd love to get more people on more patrons onto the channel and come in for some games. We did have Simon come along and play a game, and that was great fun. I think he thoroughly enjoyed himself. So we'd like to try.
At least he did say that, but he didn't really have a choice.
In the car on the way home, he's talking to his wife. God, they're just idiots, just massive idiots. Such a waste of my time. But it was great getting him on the channel, and we enjoyed it. So
it was indeed. Okay then, everybody.
I think that's time for us, gentlemen. We will call it there. I don't know if we're going to do a live chat next week or not. We are trying to do this every week, but if there's nothing major comes up in the meantime, we might take a week off and then return the week after, recharged and renewed for even more chattery. So we'll see how things go, and we will update.
Just signed up to Backgrid. Oh,
thank you very much. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony Tinsel's just said he just missed the second game of that due to work, unfortunately. Also, he made it. Hello, Anthony. We're just leaving. Thanks for turning up, and good night.
But Pete will have this live soon. And put where it starts on, won't you? When we do that.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, cheers everybody.
So thank you everyone for turning up, and we shall see you, if not next week, then the week after, and we shall see you soon.
Bye.